Hello there friends and welcome. Today I bring you very exciting news as ARCANE Games has recently announced the second set of DLCs for Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. That's right, so now we have official confirmation that 3 new DLCs are coming. I'll guide you through all of the information we have so far on them, but just saying ARCANE also has a video about it that you can check at the pinned comment down below. First, I just want to explain how this works. I know a lot of people have the game on Steam and they might not know what a Season Pass is. If you pre-order the Season Pass 2, which you can do right now, well, it's basically like getting all of the DLCs there in one package. Even though they aren't released yet, when they finally do, one at a time I believe, you'll already be able to play the DLCs just like that, because you bought the Season Pass. With that out of the way, let's now cover each one of these new and exciting DLCs. So the first DLC, DLC number 4, will bring us an entire new companion, and also a new playable class, the Shifter. And apparently there'll even be a new love interest as well. So in a way, I believe this is going to work just like the first ever DLC for Kingmaker with the Tiefling Twins, the Wild Cards. We get a new companion and also a new class. Plus I'm sure all of the quests that will be associated with this new character. Now from this screen we have here from the official ARCANE video, I'm pretty sure the character you see to the right is Paizo's iconic Shifter, just like Scylla for Paladin and Amiri from Kingmaker for Barbarian. The one to the left though, I wonder if that's actually the true Shifter character or just, you know, a generic Shifter they have. I'm certainly very much looking forward to this DLC, mostly because I really enjoy all sorts of DLC that add main game content. I'm all about expanding the main game even further. And new classes, which of course will most likely come with new abilities and new feats, are always welcome for more customization and replay value. Now, in case you didn't know before, the Shifter class, as far as the Pathfinder implementation of it, is all about changing into different wild beasts. As the name itself implies, it is a shapeshifting class. The Shifter class can actually trade their normal attacks for natural attacks like, let's say, claws, gores and bites, so you can still play as a human character with bestial attacks. I'm personally all about changing into other forms though. That's something I've always enjoyed in RPGs, even though it's kinda rare. If you don't mind possible spoilers, gameplay wise anyways, if you have the toy box mod and you go for the search and pick tab, then write Shifter right here and press search, you can kinda already see some of the abilities you might expect from the class. I don't want to show them here because I know some players would prefer to experience it themselves. But anyways, they seem mostly focused indeed on changing into wild animal form for some powerful benefits. Just remember that whatever you see through the toy box mod, it's a work in progress, right? So the actual abilities you get at the final release might be different than what you see here, with even more stuff too. Now personally, I have always liked shapeshifter characters, although as far as animal forms, I've never been much of a fan. I'm more of a Neverwinter Nights 1 shifter where, you know, you could change into all sorts of different forms, not just animals, but also outsiders, even undead, monstrous humanoids, all sorts of different races and types of creatures. So if you're listening to this, okay, well, my personal wish for this first DLC is that, I don't know, maybe perhaps through a mythic ability or mythic feat, you do let us expand the shifter's main form beyond that of normal animals. Especially because, well, a game like Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, it's all about mythic power, right? The power level is just on a whole other scale, so why not go with, for example, outsider forms? After all, we have plenty of great outsider models and animations in the game already. And remember, we also already have a demon shapeshifter, which by the way I have a build for it as well that you can check, as usual, in my builds playlist. We even have some devil models and animations, other great outsiders like the Proteans from the first DLC, plus a lot of other stuff. We have inevitables, a very big amount of faith from Kingmaker, plus as far as the bestiary of the games, many other nice creatures too, like monstrous humanoids such as minotaurs and so on. And of course, I imagine that whenever someone wants to play a shifter, well, I might be wrong, but they 100% want to become a dragon. I mean, who doesn't, right? Dragons have always been regarded as some of the ultimate coolest creatures of fantasy, and we already have spells that can do that in-game, so why not let shifters do it too? After all, remember, you can already play as a Druid Shapeshifter Angel, and I do have a build for that you can check here, which is an extremely powerful class combo, for shapeshifting that is. So the Shifter class they implement to the first DLC, they kinda have to compete with that. If it's just animal forms, well, I don't really see a way, because Druid Angels are super powerful, all thanks to the spell merging mechanic. You can even change into the ultimate dragon forms as early as chapter 3, that's how powerful you are. To put it simply, I really hope all cats make Shifter a class that's worth it, because if you aren't aware, as far as Tabletop, it's not really considered, well, a good class per se. It's probably kinda underwhelming, so hopefully its implementation into Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous is improved in some way. At least that's what I wish for. Now, DLC number 5, our second DLC from Season Pass 2, will actually be a continuation of the Through the Ashes campaign, which, just like Varnhold's slot for Kingmaker, has you play with new characters in a standalone campaign that takes place, well, it is during the main quest of the game, but with a completely different party and new characters. The Knight Commander, so the main character, is actually busy somewhere else. So you now have mostly a group of mercenaries and some new characters with no mythic powers to save the day. I'll be blunt, I'm kinda not much of a fan of standalone campaigns, mostly because what I really like is more main game content, right? So more gameplay hours for the main character and their party. After all, we've all grown to love the story party members. I imagine most players want to see more Wendwa, Camellia, Abrushale, Scylla, Lan, Wojif, and so on, instead of new characters that kinda aren't important in the grand scheme. This part, however, has me excited for the new DLC. Apparently, after you finish it, a whole new dungeon will also appear in the main campaign for your main character to explore. I actually really appreciate this because, well, it kinda serves as a way to make the DLC more appealing. The more content for the main game, the better for me. So I'm already wondering how huge this new dungeon will be, and what new gear it will have to offer to our true main character. Lastly, DLC number 6 is somewhat of a split between story and gameplay, I think. It will bring the main character back to Kenabres, the very first city you start the game at. I imagine it's going to take place close to the end game, perhaps before the final assault at Threshold. You'll get to take a little break and spend some quality time away from the battlefields, together with companions, maybe even going on a special date with your loved ones. I imagine it's kinda going to be like Mass Effect Citadel DLC, which I know is well liked by quite a lot of players. What I'm really interested in, however, is this last section here, just like with the new Through the Ashes DLC, so be careful though, because the war isn't over yet, and even the new Peaceful Kenabres might hide its share of secrets. So I imagine there's also going to be some actual gameplay, dungeon exploring, or battle content with this DLC, which is what I'm really looking forward to. I'm kinda all about more gameplay and more content, especially for Chapter 5, because at the moment, the late game Mythics, well, they still don't have nowhere near as much content as the early Mythic paths because of how late you get them. One of the main reasons I really enjoy the Treasure of the Midnight Isles DLC is exactly because it can also be played as part of the main campaign, so even more content for the main game, with more loot, more experience, more money, all sorts of fun stuff, also to your true main character. So I am really glad to hear that all of the new DLCs actually appear to have content for the main game. Thank you for doing that, Allcat. It really matters, at least to me. Well, so this was it, friends, from my video about the new DLCs for Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. What I'd like to know is, what did you think of them and what are your expectations? Please be sure to leave them on the comments down below and I'll do my best to answer as always. Thank you for watching and see you next time.